In the meantime, let's switch gears now because the stage is set for the presidential debate tonight. And this one is one for the history books already. For the very first time, a sitting president and ex-president will be debating before millions of viewers. It's taking place earlier than normal, even before the convention. There will be no audience. The speakers' mics will be muted when time is up. And there is a whole lot on the line. So joining us now to discuss is political strategist Tom Seraphin. Tom, always a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for coming back. Said to be a very close race right now. How important is tonight's debate?
I think it's critical for President Joe Biden. May not be as critical for Donald Trump. But in my experience in listening to the pros over the last 50 years since I've been in the business, you don't win presidential debates, you lose them.
Okay.
So they both are going in with a lot on the line. Joe Biden could lose more than Donald Trump, but it's going to be fun watching. The hype is big.
And they put a lot of restrictions on them. So it seems like they're going to try to control it a little more because we've seen in the past with the former president that sometimes he can go off on a tangent. Tonight's going to be interesting. It's going to be much more restricted. What do you expect to see? What do you expect each candidate to come out and try to do right off the bat?
Well, I think President Biden's going to show a command of knowledge, a command of the wisdom of the office of presidency, and a handle on the world as we know it. And he's going to talk about Bidenomics really being the threshold of where things got better in this country versus what happened the 4 years when Donald Trump was there. The good thing for President Biden, he's got 4 years of Donald Trump in office that he can point to. And the same thing for Donald Trump. He's going to point to Joe Biden's 3.5 years as president, and he's going to talk about the border situation, inflation, the economy. He's going to try to focus on the fact that we haven't stopped wars. We've kind of encouraged them, according to Donald Trump. So they both are going to be fixated in those positions. The fact that the mic goes off probably helps Donald Trump because it forces him to be disciplined. Donald Trump, if he plays within himself and he does what he's been doing on the campaign so far this year, which is a surprise, he's been disciplined. If he maintains that, he should do fine. President Biden's going to be measured on whether or not he's cognitive for 90 minutes by a lot of the people that are watching on television and the reporters. Was he awake? Wasn't he awake? All those things. So he's going to have to be alert and with the issues. He doesn't have to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He just has to be presidential.
He just has to be presidential. So that debate is tonight. And what difference is it going to make to voters? Obviously, there are people who are steadfast for each candidate, but then there's those voters who still are wavering.
Well, there's about, I think it was the Cook report that came out with a study the other day. 17% of the voters that were with Biden in swing states, they're talking about Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, Ohio, Pennsylvania. In those states are no longer with Joe Biden in this particular election cycle. They're not necessarily with Donald Trump, but they'll be watching if they see a new Donald Trump, and if they like him, that could push some of those undecided Biden voters in his direction. Right now, nationally, Joe Biden is behind by 2 points. The New York Times had him behind by 2.5 points the other day or this morning. And 66% of the country think we're on the wrong track. I mean, which is not that far off of where it was under Donald Trump. But the numbers are not good for Joe Biden this close to a general election. So he's going to have to show some stuff, hold on to his votes. And, they're going into the Republican convention. And between now and the convention starting, Donald Trump will be sentenced. Lots riding on this thing. If he hits the ball out of the ballpark, and President Biden is crippled in the process, you may see somebody at the Democratic National Convention making a move, and you may also see the judge making a strong move on Donald Trump to restrict him from moving around the country, because they're playing for keeps here.
Yeah, this is a big night, and we appreciate you coming in and kind of breaking it down beforehand. We're going to also be talking to you tomorrow about this, and we want to let our viewers know that you can get expert analysis from Paris Schutz before and after the debate. We have a preview tonight at 7:30, followed by a breakdown on Fox 32 News at 9. It's all right here on Fox 32 Chicago. Tom Seraphin, thank you as always. We'll be right back.